So welcome. This is our last community of practice meeting for the year. So we're very happy to have you all here with us, and we're very excited to be able to have a session looking at how fire safety goes from theory to practice. Um, in this year so far, we've hosted several sessions already. First, looking at how fire safety is how we can kind of look at institutionalizing fire safety amidst the very rapidly evolving sector in the humanitarian sector. We also had a session on burn prevention and preparedness and response. And this is our third and last session for the year, looking at a case study in Northeast Nigeria. And the community of practice, for those of you who are new, this is the Global Shelter Cluster Technical Community of Practice group. We are certainly looking at shelter-related issues, though fire safety is cross-cutting. It goes far beyond shelter and humanitarian response. We also focus on how we can engage non-traditional actors. So personally, I'm a fire safety engineer. I haven't given a proper introduction to myself. My name is Danielle Antonellis. I'm the founder, executive director of Kindling, and also a fire safety engineer by trade. We really try to bring firefighters, fire safety professionals, whether they're academic researchers or practitioners, into this space with humanitarian actors to be able to look at how fire safety can be improved across the sector. So this is a very special place, bringing together people with different backgrounds to look at how we can tackle what is quite a challenging issue and a cross-sector issue in the humanitarian sector. Kagaima is one of the national CCCM and SNFI sector coordinators in Nigeria, co-leading the coordination um, of this sector, the CCCM and SNFI interventions across Borno, Adonarma, and Yobe states. He is a civil engineer by profession and humanitarian with more than 9 years of experience in emergency shelter, site planning, and disaster preparedness, as well as multi-sector coordination. Mohammed has overseen large-scale shelter interventions, hazard mapping, and infrastructure safety assessments in conflict-affected communities, as well as provided technical support in rapid response operations. His field experience spans Nigeria as well as Ethiopia. He also holds a bachelor's degree in civil and water resources engineering and a master's degree in integrated water resources management, both from the same university. He is a registered engineer with the Council of Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and the Nigerian Institute of Civil Engineers. So we're very, very grateful to have you with us, Kagaima, and excited to have you be able to share your experience and perspective on fire safety from the region where you work. So without further ado, I'll hand over to you to take us through your presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for that kind introduction. And once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So it's my pleasure to be here. Today, I will be taking you through fire safety from practical humanitarian perspectives. What we are seeing in IDP locations, why fire continue to cause devastating impact, and what lesson and risk reduction measures we are applying in Borno, Adama, and Yobe State in Nigeria context. So I will proceed to the presentation. As you can see, the background. So background, it's very, very important so that we know from inception what are the causes of fire. So in Borno, Adama, and Yobe State, we have almost over 2 million people across Borno, Adama, and Yobe continue to live in camps in host communities. And the displacement is driven by armed conflict started in 2009. So climate shocks, especially flood and winds, exacerbate the vulnerability. And in many of these areas, people live in congested situation, highly flammable temporary structures, making them extremely vulnerable to fires. So in the next slide, we need to know the timeline of the displacement and the drivers. So this timeline helps to explain how displacement patterns influence settlement condition and fire risks. So between 2014 to 2016, we saw peak displacement within that period. From 2017 to 2019, we entered a protracted crisis phase. And in the year 2020 to 2021, brought COVID-19 and camp closure policy, which pushed many people into other sites, both informal and informal settlement. And camp closure in 2021 to 2022 created a dense concentration in remaining camps due to the camp closure policy, which raised risks fires. Then in the year 2023 to 2024, so we have climate shocks, which wasn't the vulnerability. And in the year which we are currently, the year 2025, the needs remain high despite the limited funding, so which leads to the major funding cut that we got in the year 2025. So in terms of the displacement, so the main drivers displacement across Borno, Adama, and Yobe State as a result of armed conflict and insecurity. And we also have hazard and also climate shocks. So this history matters because it explains why many sites lack proper spacing, proper construction materials, or proper permanent fire mitigation system. So in the next slide, we have formal and informal camps across Borno, Adama, and Yobe State, which in a shortcut we call it Bay State. So in general, within these regions, we have 240 formal and informal camps across these states. Plus, we still have IDPs in host communities within these states. So about 83% of these sites are informal. So meaning they lack organized infrastructure, structured layout, or emergency service presence. So and a key operational reality. So the only functional fire service is located in Maiduguri. So for Borno State, for Yobe, we have in Damaturu, and for Adamawa, we have it in Yola. So our case study for this, why we put Maiduguri. So this means that in most of the LGS in Borno State, so fire outbreaks rely on community response. The volunteers within the camps and CCM partners, not a professional fire brigade. So this gap is one of the biggest barrier in translating fire safety theory into practice. So we wanted to know the category of the shelters that we have across this Bay State. So we have category A, so household without shelter. So this means that people live in open space. So this group sleeps in open space with no shelter materials at all. So they cook, they sleep, and store belongings in the open. So fire risks emerges from open fire used for cooking combined with high population density. So in some of the location where it receive new arrivals, so an open fire can spread rapidly to nearby makeshift because they sleep in the open. Then the next category that we have, it's makeshift shelter. So in the next slide, which is slide 6, so we have makeshift shelters using shelter materials. So these are extremely fragile shelter built with blankets, cloth, sticks, mat, and mosquito net. So materials are highly flammable. Flame from cooking fire or nearby shelters will ignite in seconds. So most large fire incident in either formal or informal camp. So in Borno, start from these shelter zones. Then the next category, we have makeshift shelter as well using local materials. So this shelter use straws, grass, thatch, ropes, and sometimes trampoline. So all these materials are easily fuel source for fire. So during dry season especially, so thatch becomes extremely dry and flammable. So a small spark can lead to complete destruction. So these are shelters where fire spread fast. Then we have also in category D, we have emergency shelter kits. So these are standard emergency, these are standardized emergency shelters are made with trampoline, timbers, and nails. Although stronger than makeshift, so trampoline burns very quickly, producing toxic smoke. So crowded layout in either informal or formal settlement where congestion happen. So limit space, making fire containment difficult. And many major camps fire, for example, in Jere, in Ngala, in Monguno, Ganze, and so on, affect these shelter types. And also, we have category E, which is transit shed. We have on partitions. So these are large communal shelters used during receptions or transit. If there are any new arrivals in some of the location where we have this, so people cook inside or close to these sheds because of space constraints. So since they are on partition, once fire start, evacuation becomes chaotic and dangerous. Then the next category of shelter type, we have pre-existing structures. So these are abandoned schools or unfinished building where IDP settles, and risks from poor ventilation, use of poor flames inside concrete spaces, accumulation of household items. So fire may not spread as fast, but smoke inhalation is extremely high in this category. Then we have another category of shelter. We have pre-existing structures. We have the same thing as the one that I just mentioned. So for this, it's partitioned. These are concrete or brick building that exist before displacement and were later partitioned to host multiple displaced for population. So while the main structure is not flammable, so the internal partition are made from timbers and trampolines, making them vulnerable to fire. So cooking often happens close to these partitions, creating invisible risks inside a building that otherwise look safe. So in case of fire, smoke becomes the biggest hazard. Evacuation pathways are often blocked by partition and personal belongings. So these structures uh, highly highlight the why fire safety must focus not only on materials, but also on how space organized inside. The next, the category of shelter, we have communal shelters as well, accommodate large groups, sometimes up to 20 or more families. So fire increases because cooking happens inside or nearby those shelters, and overcrowding means faster fire spread, and trampoline walls heat up quickly and collapse when burned. So a single fire incident in a communal shelter affect multiple families. So this structure require a dedicated fire point and continuous community sensitization. And the next as well, we have emergency shelters. We have various types. We have the Burma type because it was intervened in, it was first implemented in Burma. We have the Qua type, we have ESK type 2, we have PCNI, and we have RRR tent. So these shelter types form majority this shelter type form the majority of camps layout in a place like Mongno. We have Dikwa, Ngala, and so other locations. So common fire risks across this design include use of trampoline, which are burn easily, as I mentioned, closely aligned with minimum of 2 meters gap. Even if you have more than 2 meters, so at some point it's being compromised by the affected population. So enable fire spread. So shared cooking space or cooking too close to these shelters because it's made of trampoline, vulnerable to fire. Then the next one we have the transitional shelter types. We have the Bakassi model and we have the mud bricks. So the transitional shelters are stronger and designed for longer time use. But however, so fire risks come from timber inside the shelters, cooking done within the closed space, trapping smoke and heat. So mud bricks shelters with thatch roof are particularly vulnerable during the dry season. And the Bakassi model reduce the fire risk slightly compared to emergency tent, but spacing and congestion are still how fast fire spreads. So these shelters show the need to integrate fire conscious design in a durable housing solution. So we have also camp congestion classification in this Bay State. So it's important to understand how we classify congestion in IDP site within these three states because congestion directly affects fire risks, safety, dignity, and access services. So we have high congestion, which means less than or equal to 20 square meter per person. So this is where fire spread fast and where protection risks are high. Then the next category of congestion, we have between 20 to 29.99 square meter. So still risky, but slightly more manageable. And we also have low congestion between 30 to 44.99 square meter per person. So more space, lower spread risks. And we have uncongested, which is more than 45 square meter per person. Ideal, but really achievable in this state due to land constraint within those locations. So this framework help us to prioritize where to decongest and where to create fire breaks and where to focus during the awareness session by our partners. So this is very, very important and it helps us even in planning or advocacy. Then I want to take some case studies for this presentation. So I want to take some evolution history for this settlement. So we have Waterbot Camp. It's located in Mongno LG, as you can see in the screen. So it's among the largest camp in the state, hosting thousands of people in that site. So you see the satellite image shows how rapid displacement reshape the area, and each expansion phase result in more congestion, more makeshift shelters, and also higher fire risks. So this case study is going to demonstrate how camp growth often happens before proper planning or fire mitigation measures are in place. So in 2017, and in the image, as you can see, so 2017 shows the early phase of camp formation in that site. So there is a clear layout which is visible, as you can see in the screen. Spacing is still more moderate, or emergency shelters dominate, but the camp is yet densely packed. When fire risks exist, but spread is still somehow controllable, as you can see on the screen. So this was a period where theoretical standard could be applied and can be achieved. So in the year 2018, so rapid expansion occurred due to new displacement, and also informal shelters started filling up space between blocks, and congestion level increased significantly, reducing fire risks, and cooking areas become interlinked with shelters, and we have fire incident began within those within that period as camp grew denser. Then in the year 2019, the camp was extremely congested. We have new shelters constructed closely, often less than 2 meters apart. So makeshift and local materials built every available space, and fire service presence is only in Maiduguri, which is more than 100 kilometers away. And a single fire outbreak during this period destroyed hundreds of shelters within a single minute. Then in the year 2020, congestion risks reach its peak. Very limited space for response vehicles or fire breaks, and also even improved shelters like the Kwam model were also around the makeshift shelters. Community fire warden were established, but lack equipment, and this come in 2020 reflect the reality. So we have a strong fire safety theory, but the practical on ground is shaped by population pressure, material, and layout constraint. So in the year 2020, still the same image, camp becomes extremely congested. One of the densest is among within that year. We also have a clear expansion of newer transitional shelter patterns, as you can see towards the northern part. So this align with a major fire incident in the early 2021, destroying hundreds of shelters. So relocation of approximately 1,700 individuals from Waterboard to nearby location, which is accessible as part of Borno State government resettlement plan, which is among the 25-year plan. So resettlement is a priority, so that normalcy can go back to these locations where resettlement happen, and livelihood opportunities and so on can go. In the year 2020, slightly reduction in density in some pocket, while other areas are stabilized. So the camp footprint remained large, but shows early signing of tining. So matches field condition. So a non-functional facilities causes significant shortage, like the borehole itself. So it's a very shortage within those locations. It's either as a result or it has breakdown, and in some of the locations there are some no water point and so on. So temporary suspension of activities by some community members in Waterboard camp due to extension to complain on service gaps, as reported by the CCM partner in that side. So this is how it is. And in the year 2023, so you can see in the image, it shows some reorganization within the camps, more visible pathway due to reduced population in some locations within the same site. And in overall, Mongno is undergoing gradual decongestion in alignment with the Borno State-led resettlement initiative, and also reduce humanitarian footprint due to funding decline in that period, and also shift in policy. It's also among some of the things. Then in the year 2024, as in the image, so mark exposure of ground surveys in several areas, as you can see. Then fire scarce and discolored zone, as you can see on the screen, around the Waterboard camp. And then this is where in that year, 2024, in January, fire incident occurred affecting Waterboard and also nearby the location. So same year, because this is where we have much of a fire incident the first quarter of every year. So there was also a fire incident towards around April that destroyed major portion of that same camp, as you can see. So it's how it is going. So in the next overview and history of fire outbreaks. So fire outbreaks are consistently one of the issue which is among the top hazard in IDP settlement. So alongside flood, and we also have windstorm, which happens during the second quarter of the year, which is the season of rain. And between 2022 and 2025, fire incident affected over 1,000 and 137,000 people. So destroying shelters, NFIs, livelihoods, and other service within those sites. Then the sector's approach has therefore focused on preparedness, reduction, risk reduction, and also empowerment communities to prevent and respond to fire. So this is achieved towards our partners who are working in most of these sites where IDP settlement exists, which are UN, we have INGO, we have National NGO. So we work very closely together with the government, which is NEMA and SEMA. So as you can see, the photo by the site illustrate the scale of destruction and why fire mitigation remains a priority. Sorry. So the fire risks in Borno, Adama, and Yobe context, for especially Borno remains the most affected due to the high shelter density, congestion, and also extremely dry condition. Locations like Dikwa, Monguno, Ngala, and so on are chronic hotspot, especially within the fire incident. So in Yobe as well, we have wind exposures and use of temporary materials increase the risks, particularly in Damaturu. We have in Gaidam, as you can see on the screen, and we have Tarma. So these where we have most of the incident. And understanding this localized risk pattern help us to mitigate effort and more effectively on fire breaks, household awareness, safe cooking practice, and as well coordination with fire service authorities by the Nigerian government. Then we have fire data collection system, which we call ad hoc report, where partners usually report. So fire data is mostly collected, as I said, through the Kobo collect reporting system. So the community, the volunteers usually work very closely with the partner in that location, including SEMA. They also are part of the camp coordination in most of the formal site. So if there is any incident that occurs in related to fire, so those partners quickly report the incident, and they work very closely with the co-leads, which is IM and UNHCR for this coordination, system shelter NFI, and with government agencies to verify the incident through monitoring report, and also coordinate emergency response, and as well as some capacity strengthening with the federal fire service. So still at every fire, so CCM partners conduct a rapid assessment after providing some flash report to the sector. So they record the household affected, what causes the fire, what are the urgent need. This is in conjunction with all partners who are working in those locations. And about 70 to 80% of fire, it usually start in one shelter and spread around due to congestion and flammable materials, while the rest come from waste burning or vegetation within IDP side. Some LGS underreported because of access constraint and lack of communication gadgets. So as actual figure may be higher than what I reported. So this data is to just guide our response and prevention planning. Still, in the next slide, here we see a consolidated pictures of impact across Borno over the 3 years. So we have 62 deaths recorded based on the incident report that we compiled and analyzed based on what partners have report. So this shows that fire is more than a shelter issue. So it's a public safety and protection risk. We have over 27,000 shelters destroyed. So this scales shows how rapidly fire spread in a highly congested camp layout. And also we have over 28,000 households affected. Many households lost their documents, their foodstuff, their NFIs, and so on. So in terms of individual, we have 137,833 individuals based on the incident tracker that we have been tracking. So this number reinforces why fire safety is now a top priority on the CCM shelter NFI sector, including protection mainstreaming. So the data makes it clear fire is predictable, seasonal, and preventable, and it also requires coordinated response, not only sorry so it requires coordinated preparedness, not only response. So in the next slide you can see we have these two graphs. So the upper graph that, as you can see, shows the number of shelters destroyed each month. What stand out immediately are the major peak. So the major spike occurs usually in March, where for 2003, as you can see in the in the chart, where in March 2023, where over 6,400 shelters were destroyed in a single month. So this reflects a cluster of large-scale fire with rapid spread across multiple camps. So the second and the largest peak is in March 2024, with more than 10,000 shelters destroyed. So this was the most destructive month in the 3-year period, showing extremely highly vulnerability within the camp's layout. So in several months, especially in the mid 2023 and 2024, we saw zero or limited destruction. So if you see zero on the chart, this is where the raining season, it's period it is. So there are zero recorded incident of fire, because every land or settlement, so it's wet. So incident of fire is zero. So meaning no major fire incident occurs during this period. So in early this year, we again see significant event. We have 862 shelters in March, and also in April we have 1,294 before the figure dropped again. So overall, the destruction for the upper one, so pattern shows while fire may not happen every month, when they do occur, they have potential to wipe out thousands of shelters within a very short time. So the below chart, you can see the actual number of fire outbreaks in each month. So this helps us to understand the seasonality and the frequency. So the highest of incidents also occurred in March 2023, with 47 separate fires recorded. Another event of Another wave of increased fire activity happens in 2024, as you can see in the early year, especially within February, we have 35 fires, and in March as well, we have 34 fires. So notice that some months have a higher number of fires, but relatively low destruction, meaning that early detection and community response have helped to reduce impact. So in this, some months have fewer fires, but extremely destruction. So this indicates that a single fire can be able to cause a single large catastrophic cause loss when camp density and wind condition allowed rapid response. So these two charts, as you can see, when we compare both graphs, the two clear insight emerge. So seasonal peak, most large fires occurs between February and April each year. So this aligns with the dry season, windy season, especially in Borno, Yobe, and Adama, when fire spread very fast because of the windy and low frequency but high severity. We do not see fire every month, as you can see in the chart, but when a major incident happens, it causes mass destruction, and also sometimes thousands of shelters in one event. Then the next slide. So it's more of still fire data analysis. So this shows a 3-year analysis, as I mentioned from the beginning, where we have a fire incident in camps across Borno State, Yobe, and as well Adamawa. So from this period, 2020 to 2022, covering 249 fire incidents recorded. So what we see here is that fire outbreaks vary widely in scales, but there are two dominant patterns. So the first small fire that do not spread is between 0 to 1 shelter, make about 11%. As you can see, this shows that some communities are able to detect and stop fire early. Then the second, the majority of fire escalate quickly. Fire destroying between 2 to 10 shelter represent about 23%. So while the largest single group is fire destroying around 11 to 50 shelters at about 25.3%. So this means that almost half of all this fire result in destruction of more than 10 shelters. So we also observe medium scale outbreak destroying around 51 to 100 shelters, around 10.4%, and even larger incidents where up to 500 shelters are lost, although these are less frequent. So in overall, this pattern shows that once a fire starts, so it's very likely to spread to spread beyond the first few shelters, mainly due to congestion. So improvised building materials, as I presented, you saw where we have various categories, and also delayed response capacity. So the critical and also this pie chart as well simplifies that same database as I presented into a broader severity category to show the magnitude of the destruction per incident. So about 11% of fires remain very small, destroying only one or less. Nearly 1/3 of all fires is around 31%, destroying 2 to 10 shelters. These are fires that are spread but remain somewhat manageable. So the largest portion is about 35.7 destroyed between 11 and 100 shelters. So these are high impact fires that overwhelm community response and usually require external support. Then the 22.1% of fire outbreaks result in destruction of more than 100 shelters in a single incident. So these are major emergencies that significantly displace household, destroy their asset, and require a coordinated multi-sectoral response. So when we combine all these categories, so the data show a clear message. Most fire are not minor. Nearly 60% of all incidents destroy more than 10 shelters, meaning that the camp layout, the density, and as well the construction materials allow a fire to spread rapidly. So this undermine the urgency of community safety education, proper settlement planning, and also stronger fire response mechanism are core component of CCCM and shelter programming. So the next slide is some of these pictures of the fire. So this is one of the fire incident in Ganzai. It's in Borno State, where they experienced one of the largest fire outbreak. Over 1,000 shelters were being destroyed. So the fire spread rapidly due to the dry weather. We have thatch construction and high shelter density in that the locations. So the next as well, we also have another incident in the Magumeri LG of Borno State. We are the same month, and they also experienced a major fire incident affecting over 1,000 shelters. So this shows how multiple LGS can be impacted at the same time during the dry season. So they lost most of their belongings. This also it's in Magumeri as well. So it's burned down all the shelters into ashes, and as you can see, various population group are often the most affected because they cannot evacuate the items quickly. So this highlight that that fire is something that is very tricky, and as well in this one, it's in Jere, LG of Borno State. So it also burned down shelters and left various households with no roof on their head. It destroyed over 600 shelters. Then the next one is still in Dikwa, LG of Borno State. So they have over 70 shelters were affected, and it spread rapidly due to the same weather condition. Then the next one as well, we have some of the response after the incident based on the assessment findings. So if there is a need for at times there was a rapid response to support those that are vulnerable. So we in these locations were where 685 people shelters were already affected, as I showed in one of the presentation. So the sector partners responded with NFI kits, shelter construction materials, and they provide technical support for them to able to construct their shelters in a settlement approach, and considering some of the minimum spacing so that this will not occur. So the next one, we have common causes of fire in IDP settings. We have congestion, as I mentioned. We have most of these congested sites. They have less than 1 meter space between shelters. Accelerate fire spread. We have flammable materials. We have grass, thatch, trampoline. Nearly all shelters in Bay uses this type because of the emergency situation. We have cooking inside the shelters. Families are used to cook inside due to insecurity or weather condition. There are some improper waste disposal, so which is one which can ignite nearby structures. We have use of charcoal. It's also a major ignition source. There is also a late fire service response, often more than 60 minutes, so making extinguishing nearly impossible. So these are some of the main causes. So the theoretical framework, this is the fire triangle. So fire requires heat, fuel, and oxygen. So if any of this it's removed, so fire does not start. And also we have sphere standard requires self-settlement layout and also spacing to reduce risks. And we also have CCM minimum standard, which is standardized, which put more emphasis on preparedness and early warning. Then in the next one, we see some of the strategic guidance notes that was developed by the CCM shelter and FI sector through technical working group where all partners come together to brainstorm on how to come up with guidance document so that we can compile everything. Then it helps us to have some guidance. So the strategy document that was developed in the year 2018. So it builds around 4 phases, which is prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery. So for the prevention, it's more of removing risks. So early, in terms of preparedness, equipping the communities in terms of response, quick action to control fire, and also rebuilding safely location. So in terms of the capacity building or strengthening is designed at 3 level. Partners usually do at community level through fire committees and training, at household level through sensitization on safe cooking space and use of fuel use, and also child-friendly space by teaching children basic fire safety. So these are some of the capacity building level. Then in the next one, we still have this guidance as well. So it's in terms of fire and burn treatment in case if it happens. So it's more of include simple fire station, providing community level station kit, and as well integrating first aid and burn treatment into return routine committee meetings. So it also connects fire risks to poor waste management, which is some of the major cause, and also communities encourage to form cluster of proper disposal and avoid burning of refuse. So these are some of the key guide on the document. In the next one, we have which is the fire prevention and preparedness checklist. So this it's more like showing what are the operational checklist used across the IDP side. So it helps our partners to track essential routine actions, sensitization, safe cooking, monitoring, fire warden trading, and so on. Drills, IEC materials, and so. As I said, so the key message here is it's more of fire prevention is more effective when monitored regularly and jointly by communities and as well partners. So in the next presentation, in the next slide, moving from theory to practice. So the ideal standard, which is theory, often cannot be applied directly to use due to congestion, available land community behavior, and as well operational constraint. So the reality, as you can see in the screen, sit in the middle. So this is where we must adopt a solution. So practical solutions must fit within the available space, and also in terms of material and as well community habit. So in the slide that we'll go into, in more of cooking practice. So in theory, cooking should happen away from flammable materials, but in reality, especially in the IDP site where you can see there is a lot of congestion, so people used to indoor cooking from which they use from their previous homes before they were being displaced, and now continue to do the same in shelters that are more flammable. So the message here focusing on keeping cooking at least 2 meters away from the shelters, but behavioral fatigue remains a major challenge. So in the next slide, so fire prevention. So in theory, so communities play a critical role in preventing fire. So however, in living in unfamiliar congested camps, so makes prevention difficult. So CCM partners use community-based theater. We will explain more on this. So door-to-door messaging, fire warding to raise awareness, and as well strengthen preparedness. So these are some of the key things where our partners use to do fire prevention. So in the next slide, this what the theater is. So community theater, as I said, in CCCM, so it's more of a participatory behavior change communication approach, where IDP themselves together with the partners in that site use like drama, story telling, songs, role play, and as well visual demonstration to communicate a life-saving message. So it is designed to be local, interactive, culturally relevant, and easy for all age group, as you can see in the screen, to understand, especially in low literacy settings common in the displacement camps. So these are some of the activities. So this also is one of the example on everyday work by our partners, small group discussions, household visits, peer-to-peer engagement. So this continuous presence is what sustain fire safe practice. So in the next slide as well, it's still the theater beyond fire safety. So theater also reinforce messaging on GBV risk mitigation, community cohesion, and as well as fire safer behavior. So it helps communities to internalize what safe practice look like in a reality life. So everyone in the community usually come, as I said, drama, playing some music, and so on. So in the next presentation slides, we have shelter design. So SPHERE standard recommend non-combustible materials, but in reality, due to land restriction and as well as funding limitations, means that most shelters are temporary and highly flammable. So this constraint shapes the fire risk environment were managed daily. So in terms of, so you can see, so these are some of the things. So in the next slide, in terms of the site planning, SPHERE standard recommend wider spacing between shelters, minimum of 2 meter, and regular fire breaks of 30 meter every 300 meters. But space is extremely constrained, as you can see in the picture. The space constraint due to land scarcity in most of IDP site. So the practical approach is to create fire breaks every 10 to 50 meter. So this is the most realistic life-saving measures within the current situation. So the next waste disposal and vegetation. So combustible waste and dry vegetation usually accelerate fire spread, but overcrowding, as you can see, and behavioral fatigue make regular clearing difficult. So our CCM partners who manages the site reinforce community-led cleaning and use of theater to shift behaviors. So the next is more of emergency response time. So in theory, emergency service should respond quickly. In reality, fire service are only in Maiduguri and cannot access most of these LGS where fire is occurring. So due to security constraint. So as a result, partners and community fire partners and community fire wardens often become the first and only responders within the affected site. Then in the next slide as well, this map shows the disparity in reach. So fire service can only be support areas around Maiduguri, the capital city of Borno State, and like Mafa, Kondiga, and Jere LGS. So most other LGS remain unreachable, as I said, because of the security concern. So this reinforces why strong community-based fire preparedness is essential to save lives. In terms of fire preparedness and responses, in many of the camps within this Bay State, so displaced communities are the first responders, often the only responders to fire outbreaks. So the reality in terms of the reality is that access to proper equipment, water, and training is limited, and theft or damage of fire kit makes this situation even more complicated. So despite these challenges, system partners on site usually train community wardens, conduct some fire drills, equipped comes with low cost but effective fire station kit. So through awareness campaign and also collaboration with the national authorities, where NEMA, SEMA, and fire service continue to strengthen local capacity of early response. So the next, it's on the system shelter and fire sector support. As a sector, so we provide the backbone for safe site management. So developing contingency plans and ensuring every partner has a clear guidance on fire safety. And also we support partners with technical trainings. We also have IEC materials, and also we do join simulation exercise to improve preparedness. So we coordinate fire incident reporting across all these camps, creating a shared evidence based for advocacy and also for programming as well. So the picture that you saw on below the screen It's 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 the fire incident tracker where we track fires. So in terms of the summary of action areas, fire safety strategy integrate both technical and behavioral solution, starting from shelter design and spacing. So we rely heavily on community-led prevention through awareness, theater, and messaging. So, and also the distribution of fire kit and also establishment of fire wardens remains a core pillar of our preparedness system, and also capacity building and strengthening, and also close collaboration with the emergency agencies like NEMA and SEMA Federal Fire Service. So it's a faster, safer response where possible. So in the next slide, these are some of the key lessons learned. So the fire safety isn't just about equipment, so it's about governance and as well community behavior and daily practice. So where communities are empowered and own the process, the prevention becomes more sustainable. And also regular training and refreshers are essential skills quickly fade without practice. And also community-based theater continues to be one of the most powerful tool for shifting behavior and also reaching large audiences in most of the affected side. And also preparedness is far cheaper and safer, and also more dignified than responding after fire. So, so this is the end of the presentation. So I can say fire safety in displacement settings requires collective responsibility, which is the government itself, the community, and partners who we work very closely together. So thank you very much, and over.
Thank you so much, Kaigama, for that incredibly informative and inspiring presentation. Just very grateful for all that you've shared, for the generosity of your time, and yeah, all the insights. We're very grateful, and so many key takeaways that I sit with as as you were going through, and grateful for your determination to make a difference in the area of fire safety in such challenging conditions. I think you really have painted a picture for us of making that shift from theory, addressing very difficult realities, but actually finding practical solutions. And just again, going back to that data, seeing the shift that's happened between 2023 and 2025 in terms of your fire incidences. So thank you. Huge thank you from Kindling's side. We have about 15 minutes now remaining, so thank you for leaving some time as well for question and answer. I'd love to open up the floor to hear of your comments, to hear questions, to hear what maybe you resonate with in some of the contexts where you are working. And then I might wrap up with a few comments and certainly give you time, Kaigama, to respond. I think I'll kick us off with a comment from Claire in the chat box. Claire says, please, would it be possible for the design of the fire station kits and tools to be shared? We are trying to design a fire point. It would be nice to see some of these resources and that preparedness routine checklist. So Claire, I don't know if you'd like to turn on your mic if you want to add anything to your comment, but I certainly think that will be possible to share. Yeah, Claire, I see you unmuting. Can I hand over to you?
Yeah, thanks, Jenny, and thanks, Kagama. That was an awesome presentation. But yeah, any of the resources that you've created, that checklist especially, we'd love to see. We work in camps settings, but also in sort of more informal shelter settings, and we're trying to design a 5-point at the moment in Ethiopia. So any sort of resources anyone on this call has actually that would help us sort of design that, and any IECs we'd love to see, because on the sort of cluster website there are some I know all of us in our own little silos design our own IECs, so it would be awesome if we could try and pool those. Yeah, thanks very much.
Thanks so much, Claire. And yeah, Kagama, one thing that stood out to me, even when you got to that slide where you talked about the fire station kits, was your emphasis on them also being low cost and easily accessible. So yeah, thank you for that. And just before we move to you, Raphael, Kagama, anything you want to respond to Claire? I think we did discuss before that we can share those resources, if that's okay.
Yeah, so it's fine. So some of the requested items so well detailed on the file that Jenny is going to share. So it's very, very detailed, and if you need more clarification, then you can reach out so that we can discuss further. Thank you, and over.
Yeah, thanks, Kagama. And yes, we do have everyone's email addresses from your registration. So after this webinar, we'll send out the recording, and we'll also send those additional resources that Kagama has kindly shared with us. So thank you for that. Raphael, over to you.
All right, thank you so much. Good morning, everybody from Massachusetts here. Thank you so much, Mohammed Kari, for that insightful presentation. And I must give you the credit because, doing research in that environment, Borno State, I think you're putting your life, in the line, and we must give you that credit. I'm from Nigeria, of course. I schooled in the northern part of Nigeria, in Zaria, Kaduna State, and I'm very much familiar with the northern part of Nigeria. And of course, what you're saying, your presentation just gave me some memories, while staying back there. And at the moment, I'm here in the US doing some research with Professor Albert Simeoni of the Fire Protection Engineering. And some of the work that we do in the lab also is part of what you're presenting on. We're working on forensic fire investigation in forest fires. And then we're also working on building resilience shelters. Of course, this fire incidences is a global thing. Even the US, we have the Camp Fire of 2018, we have the August Fire of 2020, and even the Palisades Fire of 2020, I think 4 January. So, but my comment or my question is on building resilient structures, because I think that's basically what we need in Borno and some other parts of the Bay State. The question is, how can this structure, resist fire to a large extent, and how can we mitigate the fire spread so that this doesn't become a recurring thing? What we are doing here is building our strategy is to have like 3-tier system, tier 1, 2, 3, like creating some shelters in place where where if we have a fire incident in a community, people cannot defend themselves. They have to move to this safe place, at least for a period of time, depending on the facilities. And then depending on the need, we have functional facilities where for the handicapped, people that are already in the hospitals, they cannot move. We can take them there, and then they can find high ventilation, power supply and everything, including the fact that the structure have to be able to resist fire. So my question here is, in those particular structures, that you presented on, are there strategies for creating fire resistant materials, so that when you have different of those structures, we can say these structures can withstand fire to a certain extent, because the materials you presented, they are textile materials, woven and non-woven, tarpaulins, and these are polymer materials that are susceptible to fire, and in the case of fire, they also release some toxic gases that can even, affect the people. So, is there strategy around these material types? Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much for highlighting this. So why we don't build more durable shelters because of land ownership restriction. So many of camps sit on private land where permanent structures are not permitted, and funding limitation is also one of the things, because durable shelters are expensive, and also camps were established under emergency condition with limited design flexibility. So I will say in general, land constraints and cost, and also emergency context make durable shelters difficult to implement. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kaigama, and thank you, Rafael, for your question and your insights from the spaces where you're working. We've actually already been in conversations as a team with Kinling and with Kaigama about the possibility of future sessions next year that specifically look into your questions around resilient structures, around materials usage. Here in South Africa, we've just completed a very ambitious fire experiment program looking into all different types of materials and the behavior of with those shelters, and want to start linking that in with some of these insights that have been shared and different contexts around the world, as you point out. So I think, yeah, it's a very important question. And as you said, what is the strategy around these material types? I'd encourage all of us to pick that up and continue that conversation. So thank you for bringing that in. Can I see if there's any other questions? We have a few minutes left. Can I invite other comments, other questions from the floor? I see a number of people have posted in the chat box appreciation for the presentation and for the insights they've gained. So thank you for that again, Kaigama. And yes, we will share the presentation, as I said, so that if you'd like to share it further with colleagues or other people that you know who would benefit from these lessons learned and strategies, you're more than welcome to share it. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I wanted to add additional input, which I missed to provide. So somewhere around 2020, last year, I can say, the global CCM cluster have sent a consultant on to study the fire incident in Nigeria, which is Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa State. So we did the sector itself. They went through a field visit for him to see what is going on in IDP setting. So most of the thing that has been presented has also been highlighted. And he did some assessment as well to do some fire index analysis to see the fire risk planning in terms of different company, in terms of the environment itself, in terms of behavior and so on. So he did some analysis, and he came up with some recommendation during his visit. He's supported by some data which it identify some opportunities to create safe fire behavior, and in terms of clear point for advocacy, and also on how to improve fire response infrastructure, not only in terms of capacity, but there are some hard component that will be required, especially as I mentioned in the presentation. The fire, due to the security concern, the fire service cannot be able to reach most of these locations. So he come up with some recommendation if some hard components will be provided so that since they are the first respondent and they can be able to do a response in that location, so they will be provided with that with the hard component and as well with the firefighting equipment, so that whenever there is a fire, then they can be able to fight with the fire. So these are some of the recommendations that he made. Thank you, and over.
Thank you so much, Kaigama, and yes, for pointing out the importance of collaboration, the importance of us supporting each other in different spaces. So there is another comment coming through into the chat. I'm just going to go through that. I think that will be our last comment, and then I'll just wrap up with a few final remarks. So yes, thank you, Dr. Botman, for the comment coming in there is it's an impressive piece of work that has been done. You have all the information and knowledge needed to implement effective measures, and you focus on prevention rather than relying solely on managing fires. This is the same mindset we have regarding fire in Europe, and is completely natural. Still, I can see some challenges. 240 camps and 2 million people. This is 1/3 of the population of Norway. Absolutely. Resources to carry out the measures will likely be challenging. Thank you for the interesting webinar. Stay safe. Absolutely. I think the magnitude of this challenge just re-emphasizes the work that is being done, but how much more work is needed. So thank you for pointing that out. I think a real big takeaway from me is just the importance, Kaigama, as you said, of understanding localized risk patterns. That phrase you used has really stuck with me, and how important it is to understand context, as you started out the presentation, to understand history, the history of the place, the magnitude of the problem, the different risk factors, the importance of context. You took us through, the different materials that are being used and those different categories, the different layouts of the camps, as you showed in the waterboard example, showing us the development year upon year of that camp. And then also, as you pointed out, behavior patterns as well, and the challenges that can then be addressed through things like community theater. I also really appreciated a line that you said where you said fire is seasonal, predictable, and preventable. And just your real call to action to say this is not an inevitable problem. Yes, it's huge. Yes, it's intimidating. But I think we really take away with us the fact that there are concrete, practical things that can be done, even with these very intense contexts. You talked about the importance of data collection for planning. It's really encouraging. Thank you for sharing your data with us. We're working with a similar challenge here in South Africa, many provinces that are doing great work collecting data, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Like you said, there's gaps in terms of different areas and the willingness or the ability to provide such data. You talked about early detection and community response that reduces the level of destructiveness of these fires. And that's critical. And doing it, as you said, through community theater in a culturally responsive and respectful way. I think that's critical and really resonates with many conversations that we've had in this platform and in other spaces. So I'm going to end us off there. Thank you again for a very informative and very insightful presentation. We look forward to continuing this conversation into 2026. We hope all of you who have joined will stay in touch. Stay safe over the Christmas and New Year holiday. Those in South Africa, we know we're in the height of fire season here right now, and so really wishing well everyone who's on the front lines and doing this work. And we will be in touch about our next COP, which will be early in the new year. We haven't set a date yet, but we will certainly keep you informed. So stay well, stay safe, and thank you again. Take care.